What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over which shotgun I think is best for zero build in Fortnite Chapter 2 Remix. As always, if you guys do find this video to be helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below which shotgun is your favorite so far in Chapter 2 Remix. So with this Chapter 2 throwback season, we have two shotguns in the loot pool. We have a single shot slow firing pump shotgun, and then the tactical shotgun, which is fully automatic, but it is far less accurate and it deals less damage. And both of those things kind of compound to make it deal far less damage, because the way shotguns in Fortnite work is you get damage based on how many pellets you hit per shot. And so if you have a large spread on your crosshair, you're going to be hitting less pellets and then getting less damage. And that's kind of what makes the tac feel so much less consistent than the pump shotgun. But I do think both of these shotguns are decently balanced against each other. Like, I think you can make a case and you can make an argument for either shotgun, and I could see that, being the case. But I do prefer the pump shotgun, but like I said, I think it's decently balanced. I know from reading comments, it seems like a lot of people do not like to be able to make choices with their weapons. They just want to be told which one is better. But I really don't think it's that cut and dry. I think it's going to depend a lot on your playstyle and potentially your personal skill within the game. Some pretty big differences between the Chapter 5 shotguns and these shotguns are going to be the range, because in Chapter 5 the shotgun's range was kind of crazy, and if you've become accustomed to that and you've become accustomed to playing fights based on having that much range out of your shotgun, you're probably going to be putting yourself in a lot of situations where both of these shotguns are going to be pretty useless. And then another big difference, I think, is going to be the body damage on these shotguns, because again, in Chapter 5, the shotguns had pretty insane body damage, and this made them much easier to use, and this made them much more consistent, because if you shot your shot and hit half your pellets to the head and half the pellets to the body, you were still going to get like really good damage or pretty good damage. But with the Chapter 2 shotguns, the body damage is okay, but it's not that great. So like with the pump, if you want to hit hard, you need to hit all of your pellets or most of your pellets to the opponent's head. If you hit like 2 head and then the rest of the body, your damage is going to be kind of mid. But I feel like with the Chapter 5 shotguns and having a really high body damage, you could get away with less precise aim because the body damage was more forgiving. But both of these shotguns really thrive on getting headshots and like need headshots to actually get like really good damage. I personally prefer the pump though, because like I said, the tac's larger reticle makes the weapon feel much less consistent to me, and this also makes it much less consistent to hit a lot of pellets to the head. You're almost at times incentivized to go for body shots with the tac, even though body shots result in less damage. Since it's a spammy shotgun, you can still kind of make that work. But with the pump, I feel like you really want to get headshots and you really want to get like good consistent headshots. One of the downsides of using the pump though is going to be the fire rate, and you'll want some sort of spray weapon to combo with it. There are SMGs and pistols in the loot pool, but one of the things that I really feel like makes the pump valid in zero build, whereas in the past pumps maybe weren't so as much, is going to be that the regular AR does just fine as a spray weapon, and so you don't need to dedicate an inventory slot to having something like an SMG. If you have room for it and you want to, then you can use the SMG and that's going to be great. But if you want to carry other things like maybe a sniper or boogie bombs, extra utility, then you can use pump AR and then all that other stuff and just have the pump and AR as your two regular guns, and it's still going to feel fine. Whereas like in Chapter 3, for example, if you were using striker pump and MK7, like the MK7 could be a spray weapon, but like the hipfire on it wasn't the greatest at times, so you often wanted a spray weapon to combo with it. Or even like the red eye. The red eye would probably be a better example of this. Like pump red eye didn't feel that good, so if you wanted to use a pump, you were probably going to use an SMG. But with the Chapter 2 loot pool, I feel like you can use an AR, not need to use an SMG, and still use the pump and still have room for those other items. So not only do I think the pump is a better shotgun, but the way the loot pool plays out, I feel like makes it a little bit easier to fit into your inventory, because the regular AR is so versatile. With pump shotguns, you either want to shoot your weapon and then swap to your spray weapon and then swap back to the pump once it's able to shoot again, basically filling the delay between pump shots with damage from your spray weapon. So maybe you hit like 100 with one pump shot, swap to your spray weapon, hit 2 or 3 shots for like a little over 50 damage, then swap back to your final pump shot, hit another 100 to finish the fight. You really don't want to just be standing out in the open with the pump out waiting for it to be able to shoot again. Like in those situations, the tac shotgun or somebody that's swapping properly is going to massively out DPS you. Another thing you can do is if you're playing off of cover well, like maybe peek, shoot a pump shot, and then go back into cover, maybe continue to back up and reset that fight. Like I said, the main thing you want to avoid is just being out in the open with the pump, shooting it, not swapping, and then waiting for it to shoot again. And this adds an extra layer of skill to the weapon that the tac just doesn't have. That's why the pump is more of a skilled weapon and the tac is a very forgiving weapon, because with the tac, you just have the gun out, hold the shoot button, you're probably going to be good to go. But with the pump, you need to have better aim. And if you do have good aim, you'll get really good damage. But if you don't have good aim, you're kind of wasting your time, you know? And then also you need to deal with like swapping back and forth. And so there's like the skill of aiming. And then there's also the skill of like swapping back and forth between the weapons while also consistently aiming and getting that timing right to where you're not just using your spray weapon for too long and swapping back to the pump when it's ready to shoot again. Or maybe, you know, not swapping too early. So I feel like there's several layers of skill with the pump shotgun. But once you get all of this down, you're very lethal and you're going to be a problem to deal with. Just because I do prefer the pump, though, I still think the tac is good, and depending on rarity, I may still take it. Like, if I have a much higher, I have a much higher opinion of the purple and gold tac shotgun than I do the regular gray, green, and blue. I don't know what it is about that gun, but I've always felt like the purple and gold tac just hits so much more different than the other ones. And then also, like, even early game, like, let's say I have the choice of, like, a gray pump or a blue tac. I'm probably going to take that blue tac over the gray pump. Like, the difference between them isn't so large that rarity isn't a factor. I think rarity is a factor. I think playstyle is a factor. And maybe just how you're feeling in the moment is a factor. And I think another reason you may want to use the tac is if maybe you want to use the scoped AR or the burst AR instead of the regular AR. Because, like, pump and burst can work, but the fire rate of both weapons is so slow that if you ever miss a shot, it's probably just going to cost you the fight and cost you the game, you know? So if I really wanted to use the burst, I think I would also be more inclined to use the tac shotgun. And then the scoped AR is the same thing. The scoped AR would be a terrible spray weapon. So if I was using this as my only AR, I would probably want the tac shotgun. I know some people do like pump, regular AR, scoped AR, maybe like pump SMG scoped AR. But like if you didn't have an extra spray weapon with the scoped AR, you just wanted to use the scope AR in your shotgun and then utility and stuff, I would want to have the tac in that case. So depending on what other weapons you like to use may also impact your decision on what shotgun you're going to use. Because like I said, I don't think the burst is a great spray weapon, and I don't think the scope there is a great spray weapon. So if you're using those as your spray weapon and you're not going to carry additional spray weapons, then I think the tac would definitely be the better choice. And it's not like it's the worst thing ever to want to use the tac. Like I've tried to say many times, I think they're decently well balanced. I think if the tac feels good to you and works for you, then it shouldn't be the reason why you're losing fights. It's a solid weapon. Rarity would impact my decision a lot, I think. But the way the Chapter 2 Remix loot pool has worked out for me so far is I have a really easy time getting purple or gold pump shotguns. I don't know what it is, but it feels like these things are everywhere. And so rarity often doesn't come up for me, but like I said, the rarity would be a factor. So like if I had, you know, a green pump and I came across a purple tac, I would probably use that. But just for how things play out, I'm often finding purple and gold pump shotguns, and so I just often end up using the pump shotgun because I also want to use the regular AR as my AR, and then use those as my two main weapons, and then have like added utility or maybe the sniper, and set up my inventory that way. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Which shotgun is your favorite? I think in the hands of a good player, the pump shotgun is going to be the far and away like overwhelmingly good choice. But even if you aren't very good, like the tac shotgun can definitely get the job done, and it's not a terrible weapon. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, subscribe if you like some more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.